Hello and welcome back to another brewing tutorial. This one is a little different from my other ones. It was requested by a viewer who wanted a bulk brewing system that used more than one brewing stand and could brew loads and loads of the same potion simultaneously. So this behind me here is what I have come up with. So the first thing to mention about this system is it doesn't have to be exactly this size. It is tileable and customizable, so you can make it as big or as small as you want. I guess within reason. You want to build within loaded chunks, for example. Anyway, so it is made up of loads of these columns here, which I have built here so you can see them more easily. A brewing stand with a set of droppers each, and hoppers, and a chest for water bottles, and either a chest to put the brewed potions in, or hoppers that can then take it off to bulk storage system. So that's what each of these bits look like. And if you're wondering how they fit together, they are right next to each other. So the next chests would be here, and the brewing stand would be right here, and the droppers would go up there, and it all fits in very neatly. This system is Clockless. It uses the same mechanism that I've used in my other brewers, the one that was originally invented by Etho, which means that it's a self-aware system. There's no timer. It detects when a new brewing cycle needs to start and dispenses more ingredients, and if there are no more ingredients, it'll stop. So this brewing stand right here is the special one. This is the one that actually gets measured and is the one that controls the whole cycle. So this one column here is a little bit different to all the rest of them, but all of the rest are identical. So the way this works is that you pull the on switch, and it will dispense bottles and ingredients to all of them. You can see there's more ingredients queued up, and then once it's finished brewing the potions, it'll dump them into a chest, and it will start a new cycle. And if you switch it off, it'll finish brewing that cycle and dump everything into the chest and then stop. This is the back of the system here. As you can see, it isn't that complicated, as in it's a really easy repeating pattern to follow. And each of these brewing stands has its own set of droppers with ingredients in. That's the only thing about this system, is it might be a little bit tedious to fill in ingredients in these droppers manually, but I can't think of an easy way to fill them really, because you can't just put hoppers along here, because you'll have hoppers right on top of each other and they'll feed ingredients into each other. Unless you kept them flooded with ingredients the whole time, so that there were no empty slots for other ones to fill into, but that's a bit risky because it could end up getting pretty messy. But if you're happy to just fill these by hand, then this is a good system. You can choose how many ingredients you want to use. So this is 6 because that is the maximum number of ingredients required to brew any potion, I believe. I'm thinking extended lingering invisibility potions require 6 ingredients. Because you have the nether wart, the main ingredient, gunpowder, and then either glowstone or redstone, and then fermented spider eye, and then dragon's breath. And there's nothing more you can do. So 6 ingredients, but if you're brewing a potion that doesn't need 6 ingredients, you can remove some of the droppers and it will still work fine, and I will again explain more about how to do that when we actually get around to building. So let's start off here. I am going to use chests just because that's easier. Let's see. let's do 4. Just for simplicity, we won't make it as big as the one over there. Put hoppers on the backs here, and then these on top of them, and then hoppers in the sides again for feeding in water bottles. That's where the water bottles go in. Oh, and then you do want 7 hoppers on top of each of these. And then you have 6 droppers feeding into these. So none into the bottom hopper, but then all of the ones above. And make sure you place these correctly so that they're pointing into the hoppers and not into each other or off to the side, because then it wouldn't work. So that's how it looks now. The next thing you want to do is come around the back here, place a slab there with a comparator on it, and then this feeds into a block, and then you have a couple of slabs coming out the other side, redstone on them. Then you have a piston facing down and a block of redstone, and then blocks coming back up here. No, there. With the repeater. More redstone, and then this comes up like so, and the same on the other side. And you want to bring this all the way along with a block sticking out for each of these hoppers here for the water bottles, like so. And you just continue that pattern down for however many columns you've made, and then you place repeaters pointing into these and redstone torches in between on the blocks, like that. And then again, redstone all along. And here as well. And this is what controls the release of the bottles. And for this one here, we can't place a torch by this one like we did with the other ones. So instead what we're going to do here, is, let's see, there's the torch. Let's just take out these glass blocks. It's a bit hard to see. Let's get rid of those. We're just gonna bring a line over from this redstone torch to power this hopper as well as this one. That's what that is doing. Now the way all of these droppers are going to get powered is we're going to take power from the end of this line and send it up through them. So you're going to be powering this hopper specifically and this one. And the way it works is that hoppers power things next to them. So by powering this one, we're powering that one and that one. And by powering this one, we're powering that one and that one. And you don't want there to be overlap because otherwise they may get triggered twice and then you just get chaos with the brewing. So then power will go in here and here, like so, and it's going to get pulled through and across all of these hoppers. So you just make a line like that, and then put repeaters on all of these. And that way the power gets sent all the way through and powers all of the hoppers. Droppers. Have I been saying hoppers? I mean droppers. And then what we do here is take a repeater, pull power from the end of the line, set it to 4 ticks. And then you have a block here, and this is where the on-off switch will be. Oh, that's not good. Let's get rid of that. Like so, and then we can put that there. And this is the on-off switch. So when the piston pushes the block across, that's in the off state because the power can't get through. So then we have power on this side, like so. And then, oh, and this is where it gets interesting. We build a ladder of slabs. So do it like this, goes all the way up there, and just gonna have to break those. Building these ladders is always a bit complicated. And like that, and like that. So now you see the power is going through to all of the droppers. And now wiring this up to an on-off switch, or like a lever, or however you want to do it, is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to do this, and then put a lever here. The torch is there to invert the signal so that this is the off state and this is the on state, just because that's what feels natural. And you don't need these blocks, or even that one. Okay, now this hopper here, it needs 22 blocks in it so that the comparator can detect any blocks going through, like so. It needs to be 22 of any item that will stack to 64 and that can't go into the brewing stand. It acts as a block so that only one item can go through here at a time. And this is what works the clockless mechanism. Now we gotta fill the droppers. All of these ones along here, for as many as you've done, get filled in the same pattern, but this one here has a slightly different pattern, again because of the clockless mechanism. So you want to put a nether wart in the brewing stand, and you only have to do that when you build it. You don't have to think about it any other time unless it gets messed up and you have to reset it. But you should only need to put it in the beginning, and it's only in the stand. And then in these droppers that belong to that stand, you put in the ingredients in the order you want to go through. So the main potion ingredient is in the bottom one, and then you can do redstone dust or whatever. Most modifiers don't matter which way round, which order you put them in. One that does matter is that if you are going to be using Dragon's Breath, that can only be applied to a splash potion, so the gunpowder has to come before it. And then in the top one, you put nether wart. However, in all of these other ones, you want to put nether wart in the bottom, and then the main potion ingredient, and then your modifiers above that, in whichever order. And you do the same for all of them. If you don't want 6 potion ingredients, which you probably won't because most potions only take like 3 or 4, you can just remove hoppers and droppers. So for 5 ingredients, you would just do this. It would still work fine. If you want 4 ingredients, take these off like that, but you want to put blocks here so that the signal still gets through and powers this. And if you want 3 or fewer ingredients, you can take out all of this. and you just have it like that. But you do need to remember that you're going to have to put your nether wart in this dropper now and move stuff around. And if this was a really long line, and this signal only reaches 15 blocks. So if there's more than 15 blocks along, what you want to do is, where you're starting to lose the signal, next to one of the repeaters, take out the redstone and create this pattern here, and then put a repeater in there. So this is going to pull the signal from here and send it along here, and this is still getting powered from here. But on this repeater only, you want to set it to 2 ticks instead of 1, because this torch is now on a 1 tick delay extra because of this repeater here, that this one isn't, so we need to increase the delay so that it's the same. And that's all you have to do, and I think theoretically you should be able to just keep that going down the line as many times as you want, and you just build this thing here, the on-off switch and the power line up to the droppers at the end of that line, wherever it is. But remember to set this repeater to 4 ticks. Finally, you want to put in a supply of water bottles somehow. Let's see, oh my goodness. I love being able to place chests next to each other now and not have them connect, but it can be annoying. Like that. So you put your water bottles in here. Alternatively, if you don't want to have a separate chest for each one, what you can do is take out, let's see, let's take this out. Put in hoppers like that, and then run hoppers along like this. Ooh, not there. And that is connected to your supply of water bottles. You could chain a bunch of chests together, for example, and this will pull water bottles out and they'll trickle through. I suggest putting this chest on this side because the nearest set of brewing stand and chests and everything will fill up first. Let me show you. So let's see. Yeah, that's filling up first, which means that this one here is the one that's gonna run out of water bottles the quickest, which is useful because this is the one that monitors the whole mechanism. So once this one runs out of bottles, it'll shut the whole thing down and nothing will brew until you refill it with water bottles, which is a good safeguard because that way, as soon as any of the stands are out of bottles, it'll stop and it won't keep on dispensing ingredients and messing up the inventory here when a brewing stand can't brew any potions. And then you will also want to manually put blaze powder in all of these. There's no real simple way to automate it, but blaze powder lasts a long time, so this should be fine. And you can also add a buffer here, say, and here if you want to, and that'll last a good long while. And that is the system. I hope you find it useful. I think it is a really cool system because it's so customizable. But if you've got any questions or requests or need help with anything, let me know down in the comments and I will help you as best I can. Thank you for watching. Take care.